We feel awkward for some reason. I don't know why that is. So I started doing a little studying. Why do people feel awkward? Why can't someone just walk up and introduce themselves? Why, if I point you out, you can't stand up and start singing like nobody's in the room? You ever wonder? Well, it's because deep down, keep in mind, our subconscious minds have been recording our whole entire lives. Every lie you've told yourself, every procrastination, every dirty ass thing you've done to others and yourself has been recorded. So you think it might be possible that deep down, the reason you don't really like to, look stupid and feel stupid and not into, publicity. Let's say you're introverted and you don't know why. Think about this. Maybe, just maybe, you don't necessarily think very much of yourself.
If there's bro love, it's my love for Bradley. Everybody, Bradley.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks, Todd. Risk on, huh? Holy shit. Thank you for having me. By the way, give it up for Todd Alt. This thing's immaculate. You got race cars in here. I mean, it wasn't gonna be bad when it was being run by Tommy Bradford, right? You guys aren't even old enough to know who that is. 8 is enough. Willie Ames. Come on, kids. Give it up for Willie. Give it up for Willie Ames. Hey, I'll do you a favor and tell you some shit if you promise to get a little more animated. Some of you guys act like you just lost $1 million in the freaking roulette table. Anybody lose? Okay, so as Todd was telling you, I also own 5 now, RV dealerships. I've got a financial services company now, a solar company. I've started about 4 companies in the last, 6 months. So I continually expand. Entrepreneurialism is in my blood ever since I was very little. So when he said, come speak at the Risk On conference, I'm like, why is it called Risk On? He said, well, what are you talking about? I'm going to spend a lot of money. I'm going to bring in race cars. I'm going to bring in a bunch of badass speakers. It's risky. And I said, so you called it Risk On because it's risky? He said, yeah, risk on. I said, well, thank God he didn't think it's hard. Woo. We'd be at the Hard On conference, folks. Anyway, I appreciate you guys having me. I won't be up here long. Every time I go to speak to an audience, I ask myself, what is it that they're here for? So I can try and deliver something that I think you can take home and apply. And because entrepreneur, business, Bitcoin, everything involves risk, I thought I'd talk a little bit about that because ever since I remember, I was always taking big risk, right? Now, I dropped out of high school like a dipshit. My dad kicked me out of the house for not mowing the lawn. So as any 16-year-old would do, I decided, might as well quit school, go to Hollywood and be a movie star. So I went down to Hollywood to be a movie star and ended up sleeping on the beach, homeless on the beach for a little while. Didn't like being broke. Ended up coming back from there. Another, get a job. All my family was saying, get a job, get a real job. So I said, okay, I'll get a real job. I went down to the Forest Service. I applied. They hired me $22 an hour. This was a long time ago where $22 an hour meant something. So I get a job for $22 an hour and I'm supposed to be this firefighter. We're going to go fight fires in Oregon. And I pictured myself, standing up there with an axe over my shoulder and a flannel shirt and freaking a wolf by my side, and I was going to go out and save eagle eggs or some shit like that. And when I got up there, it was just not anywhere near the cool factor that I had put in my head. Matter of fact, when I got off the bus, the guy pointed at this big rubber backpack and he said, strap that on and go find all the stumps that are still smoldering and just squirt them. It was called a piss bag. I was a piss bag operator. I went from frickin' Paul Bunyan to frickin', some dipshit walking up and down like an idiot. And I'll tell you what now, within about 2 hours, dude, and I'm telling you, if you'd have been there, you'd have been breathing in smoke. It was up and down hills. You were going through brush. You were getting poked in the eye. It was terrible. But it was $22 an hour, and that's what everyone said I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to get a job, a real job. So I stuck with it a couple days. Well, I ended up getting a little patch of poison oak right here. I go up to the dude. I'm like, bro, I'm going to have to take a couple weeks off. I got poison oak. And he opens his shirt, and the whole entire body was covered in poison oak. He had poison oak on his earlobes. And he said, dude, that's just part of the job, man. You got to get back out there. And I looked at him and I said, you want me to get poison oak all over my body for $22 motherfucking dollars an hour? Like, are you out of your damn mind? And I quit instantly. Had to wait on the bus 4 hours to get back down the mountain, but I quit instantly and just sat there and felt like the biggest loser. My family was going to disown me. I'd look like an idiot. Everybody's going to be pissed because I quit the best job in the world. Now, was that risky? I don't think so. See, again, ever since I was little, I didn't see risk as risk. I saw it as an opportunity to get the hell out of bullshit work. So the next day I open up this newspaper and I see car salesman ad. Come sell cars. I'm like, sure. I go in there, apply. They let me wear a suit, cologne, a pen. It was unbelievable. They hired me. It was a dream come true. They walked up and they said, well, go pick out a car. And I said, what? They said, yeah, when you sell cars here, you get what's called a demo. So just go pick out a car, get a plate and put it on there, and that's your car. And I said, you're telling me that I get one of these cars to drive? They said, absolutely, go pick one. I said, that Trans Am right there. It was Williams Wilson Pontiac Volkswagen. Now remember, dude, I'm like 17, almost 18. And they're giving me a Trans Am. This job over here, the real job that society wanted me to have, all the people, afraid to take risks told me to have, wanted me to have poison oak. And then this job over here that was bullshit, it's all commission. You might not make any money. That's pretty risky. That one was giving me a Trans Am. So call me a fool, but I saw opportunity. So because it's the Risk On Conference, I just want to share with you this. You got to take risk. We all know that, right? And the problem is with most people, they're afraid to take any risk. They're afraid of what might happen. When in reality, what they're thinking about is what am I going to look like? To my dad, to my mom, to my brother, to my friends, to who I told I was going to go be a big movie star, or I was going to go be a big business owner, or I'm going to go get rich on frickin' Dogecoin or whatever those shit coins are called. And by the way, I'm not a Bitcoin fanatic, but I do have some. Someone gave me $85,000 worth when they were $600 a piece. And so I was like, I don't even know what these are for. No one will take them. So I just stuck them to the side. Now I'm looking to sell those bastards. Anybody want any? No, I'm joking. I'm buying the dip. But when I'm walking out here, I say, what can I share with these people that I think they can bring home that might make a difference in their life? There's a couple of things. One is you got to take bigger risks, folks. You guys when I say you guys, I'm just assuming. Could be none of you, could be all of you. But at the end of the day, you got to take more risk to get what you want, to achieve the dream. Dreams come with a price. The shit ain't free. You have to be willing to give up. You have to be willing to sacrifice. Okay, if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. So you're going to sacrifice one way or the other. You're going to pay the price no matter what. So if you're taking notes, take that note down, dude. I got to take bigger risk. I got to have more risk in my life. Everyone's so afraid to lose. And I've never been afraid of losing. Maybe something's broken. I've always saw risk as like opportunity. Like I'll give you another example. One day, me and my dad were driving to this place in Eugene, Oregon called Valley River. We're driving over. There's a hotel to the left. You go over here. This is the big mall. Everybody goes to the mall. Rumors had it Elvis Presley was in town because there was a concert coming up. So, and again, you guys remember Elvis Presley? Anybody? If you guys don't know 8 is enough, you probably don't know Elvis. Anyway, he was a big star back in the day. Elvis Presley was in town. Now, I'm about 6, 7 years old, maybe, little kid. I knew my dad liked Elvis. My mom liked Elvis. Everybody liked Elvis back in those days. So we're driving along, and I said, Dad, if Elvis is in town, I bet you he's at this hotel right here. My dad said, dude, Elvis ain't at that hotel right there. Get a little bit farther, see all these cars, all this commotion. I said, Dad, look, cars, commotion. Elvis is in there. He says, no, Elvis ain't in there. I said, come on, go in there. There's got to be. Why the fuss? Why is everybody going crazy? Pulls in the car, gets out, asks somebody, hey, what's going on? They turn around and, Elvis Presley's over here. Elvis Presley's over here. So I'm like, yeah, I knew it. So we're sitting there, and there's a line of security guards down the hallway, and there's a group of people, trying to, see down the hallway, and these security guards were just stopping them. And so I said, let's go meet Elvis. And my dad said, oh no, we can't. I said, what do you mean? He said, look, they won't let us through. They won't allow that, son. He probably felt a little bit of shame because he couldn't get his son in front of Elvis. But hey, the crowd, the guards, it was impossible. Well, when I looked over, right after he said that, I looked over, and all I saw were holes in between the legs of the people. And I saw, security guards with holes in between their legs. And I let go of his hand, and I went right through that whole blockade. Nobody stopped me. I walked right past it, walked right up to a door that looked like this. It was like this big, magnificent suite. And all of a sudden, the doors open, and there's the king, Elvis Presley, standing right there. He comes walking out with a couple of his bodyguards and sees me, and he goes, hey there, little man. Passes me on the head and turns around and walks out, and everybody's screaming at the other end of the hall, and he walks that way, and I'm just standing there like this, smiling ear to ear. And the reason I share that with you is because, again, look, my dad wanted to meet Elvis just like I did, but he saw stop. I saw opportunity. It was the same situation. He's focused on the risk. I was focused on the reward. Does that make sense? So you want to remember that as you start to take on business and more business. Up until I'd say 30 years old, I didn't really have a business. I was always selling for somebody else. I got really good at sales. Matter of fact, I think you guys get included with this ticket a year of my closer school. If you guys want to learn how to close anybody on anything and make so much money you can't even fucking handle it in life, make sure you redeem that thing, and I'll show you guys how to close objections, prospect like you've never seen in 2022 stuff that'll triple and quadruple revenue if it's, personal or your business. So make sure you do that. Now, I was going to come out here and talk about closing, right? Teach you how to sell. Why? Well, because, dude, if you know how to sell, dude, that's a key. That's a key in life. That was my key. Okay, I could close anybody. People always ask me, you better than Grant Cardone? I said, dude, he sends me a check. You know what I'm saying? Who closed who? Come out, get out your phones. Get out your phones. I know it'll get back to him. Tell him. No, so what Todd was talking about, Lightspeed VT, that was my first company. But what made me start my first company is I helped this kid in the back of the lot come up here and learn sales. And I used to grab people out of Burger King and say, dude, quit doing that bullshit. I was remembering my bullshit job. And everyone was so afraid to work for commission. It was too risky. And I just kept convincing people, dude, you got to sell something. If you want to be rich, you got to sell something, folks. Oh, I don't really like sales. I'm not really a salesperson. You're a salesperson, folks, whether you think you are or not. You come out of the womb selling. You're selling them on getting you a tit. You are selling them on changing your diaper. You are selling people every day, whether you think you are or not. You're selling your kids on doing better in school and cleaning up the room. You're selling your girl on where to go to lunch, et cetera, et cetera. Your sales. And that is a very, very valuable skill, but you can't stand up here for an hour and teach it. So I thought, well, what can I teach in 30, 45 minutes that can make a big-ass impact? A personal brand. Every single person in the room, and some of you already have one, I'm sure, every single person in the room can build a personal brand. Guaranteed 100% because I've done it. I've done it in the last 3 years. Now, mind you, it's taken me 20 years to get Lightspeed to an 8-figure company. Dragging a dead horse. Every time I'd make a big deal, another deal would screw up. Every time I'd close one deal, another deal. You felt that before, like 10 steps forward and freaking 30 steps back. 20 years I'm dragging this dead horse, this interactive training system that I invented. It's the best way to train people, yada, 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 yada. It took me 20 years to build this thing to 8 figures. It's I would say in the next 2 to 3 years, I'll do between $300 and $500 million off a personal brand. Huh? Can I get a come on? Guys, and let me tell you something. It's not risky. It's risk off. Building a personal brand, anybody can do it. And it can be big. Just like anybody you know on social media, anybody that you see, anybody that you follow. And I'm going to walk you through, if you want, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I did it. So when you leave here, if you want to do it, you can do it. But I can tell you what. If someone said, Brad, how do I make more money? How do I blow up my business? How do I scale? How do I grow? There's going to be one answer I'm going to always look back and give. And the answer is going to be relationships. Relationships, folks, I'm telling you right now. Raise your hand if you know the person sitting next to you. Not that many of you? Like by the time you guys leave here, you should know every single person here, because it's not who's up here talking that matters, it's who's out there. And who are they? And what do they do? And how can you guys merge? And how can you guys collaborate? And I'll bet you there is deals to be made right here in this room. And most of you are going to come in here, and then you're going to leave. And then you're going to open up the notes, and you're not going to do shit. And then next year, you're going to come back again. That's what I want to avoid. You got to take that execution. And when people realize how simple it is, because I like try to remove all the nonsense and the complication and the big words. I like to bring it down to just simplicity. Simplicity says relationships is where the money is. Why do I say that? Think of $1 you've ever received that hasn't come from a relationship. Can anybody think of one? Can anybody? Go ahead and holler out yay, nay. Are you guys awake? Hello? Hello? Bitcoin, you said? Is that what you said? Where'd you buy yours? Oh, fucking relationship. Huh? You got a relationship with that. You guys, trust me, I've thought about it. I've asked a million audiences. You're not going to find an answer that doesn't come back to dollars are derived from relationships in some form or fashion. So if you want more dollars, get more relationships. If you guys knew more people than you knew right now, you'd have more than you have right now. That's a fact. And that's how simple it is. So that means, what do we got to do? We got to get attention. We got to get everybody to know who we are. We got to meet everybody we can. But most of us, or a lot of us, we don't really feel comfortable doing that. We don't feel comfortable walking up to somebody in a crowd saying, hey, how you doing? They don't want to just, they don't want to feel awkward. Anybody ever feel awkward? Like I do right now, looking at you guys. Yeah, we feel awkward for some reason. I don't know why that is. So I started doing a little studying. Why do people feel awkward? Why can't someone just walk up and introduce themselves? Why, if I point you out, you can't stand up and start singing like nobody's in the room? You ever wonder? Well, it's because deep down, keep in mind, our subconscious minds have been recording our whole entire lives. Every lie you've told yourself, every procrastination, every dirty ass thing you've done to others and yourself has been recorded. So you think it might be possible that deep down, the reason you don't really like to, look stupid and feel stupid and you're not into, publicity. Let's say you're what do they call it? The inward and the outwards? Yeah, introverts. Like maybe you're introverted and you don't know why. Think about this. Maybe, just maybe, you don't necessarily think very much of yourself deep down. Because that's what was going on with me, and I didn't even realize it. Why? Because, dude, I dropped out of school. Here's how it happened. At 6 years old, I used to lie to everybody because we lived in a little shitty house next to a bunch of nice ones. I felt ashamed for being poor, the poor family, so I lied to everybody, thinking, telling them my dad owned Disneyland and we were rich and don't look at the house. We're just staying there for a moment and, don't worry about it. And I got alienated by everybody. So I knew lying wasn't the deal. Then all of a sudden, I started keeping shit real when we moved into another city and I had a new chance. So I just started telling the truth and keeping it real, and it didn't matter if you didn't like me, that's cool, and all of a sudden I became cool. But I didn't really have ethics. I was using my shit for evil purposes. That's why I've got 7 kids from 12 women. That was one of my evil purposes. But I was using my influence that I found through being authentic and being myself, not necessarily for the best things. And until I became 30 years old and helped that dude in the back and watched how money changed his life and his family's life, and then all of a sudden I said, man, I want to start a company where I help people make more money. And I stopped thinking about me. I started thinking about other people. That's literally when shit started happening. Until then, I chased, riches, but I could never find them. And believe me, I was digging. I was working. But until I started worrying about helping other people, I totally forgot about myself. I didn't do it on purpose. But I totally forgot about myself. It just started feeling good helping other people. So I started to focus on helping other people. And that's when the money started chasing me. And that's when I started making all kinds of money and all kinds of relationships. And it dawned on me like, holy crap, dude. The more people I know, the richer I get. It's that simple. You want to go around and introduce yourself every second of every day. If you're not introducing yourself to 10 new people a day, ask yourself why. Do you not want more? Because if you don't, that's cool too. So make sure that when you guys leave here, the casino's full of people, the airport's full of people, restaurants are full of people, this place is full of people. Get to know each other and who they are and how you can help each other. That's going to be your biggest value from this event. I promise you that. If you do it. Because again, most of you aren't going to do it. Most of you are going to go, I like what he said. Go introduce yourself to them. No. They're talking. I don't want to interrupt. And it's mainly because we don't want to feel stupid. We don't want to feel awkward, which means that we value somebody else's opinion more than we value our own. I have no problem busting in a room like I own it and roll out like I sold it because I already know that I can help people. I help people all the time. I'm helping people right now. You may not know it, but I'm helping people right now. Might just be him, might just be you, but it's somebody. I know that for a fact. And the reason I do it is not for money. The reason I do it is because, dude, I know that we can live in a world that's more successful if we help other people succeed. They say it's lonely at the top because you don't help no motherfuckers get there. So I want to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it or want it. And all the knowledge that I've acquired in my 53 years there's one thing that's the most incredible, okay? A personal brand. I'm growing and I'm growing. Who follows me on social media? Anybody? By round of applause. So I can see. I can't see way back there. All right, good. If you don't, get out your phone and follow me. It'd be cool. But at the end of the day, man, it just keeps growing. It keeps growing. It keeps growing. And the crazy part is I keep making more and more money. I made $1 million on my podcast the other day. There's a ERC. It's called Employee Retention Credit. Anybody hear of it? None of you have heard of it? Well, shit. I'm going to make a whole bunch more money right now. Watch. You've heard of it? So there's this ERC. It's a legit thing. The IRS says if you had W-2 employees during COVID, they'll give you $26,000 back per employee. Now, there's a few qualifications, but it's true. I've gotten back $17 million for people listen to my podcast. Check in hand from the IRS. And all I did was interviewed 2 people and then told everybody, hey, if you guys want to see if you got money, go to the real ERC specialists, plural.com, and fill out their little form, and you might have money coming back, dude. And $17 million went back in the pockets of my listeners. Isn't that, and by the way, that made me over $1 million in commission, because all I said is I'll send them here, and if they buy, he goes, if they buy, I'll give you a piece. I said, okay. So it made me $1 million. That's the personal brand. I've made $1 million twice that easily with a personal brand. Now, everybody here can build a personal brand. 100%. There's not a person in the room that cannot do it, physically or any other way. You may not do it, which is sad, because I can tell you right now, a personal brand makes a massive difference. You guys all know Grant Cardone? I'll use him as an example. Dude, when I met Grant Cardone, he was a freaking one-man band training car salesmen. Nobody knew who he was unless you were a car salesman at a few dealerships. Nobody knew who he was. And I got him on the Lightspeed system, and I closed his ass, and we started selling dealerships, and I kept saying, Grant, dude, you're bigger than just the car business. You got to get out there, get known. This thing, YouTube, social media, Periscope, all these little social media apps were popping up, and Grant's on them all. And like, I'm thinking to myself, Grant, dude, you got to quit, putting so many videos out, dude, because I was unfollowing him. People were unfollowing him. I thought he was going to hurt his brand. I said, dude, you're looking stupid. You look dumb, dude. People are going to unfollow your ass with your goofy ass shit. Like, and plus you keep asking everybody to buy every 5 seconds. Every day, right? Okay, so I said, dude, you're going to get unfollowed. You're going to ruin your reputation. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. He didn't listen to me. One day I called him. I said, dude, I got to unfollow you. You keep doing it. I can't deal with it anymore. He said, go ahead. You ain't buying nothing. And I'm telling you right now, dude, I was wrong. He was right. He kept going with quantity over quality. He didn't give a rat's ass what he was posting as long as he was posting. And that's how you know who he is. And that's how he's raised billions of dollars for his freaking capital fund. I'm telling you right now, that's why he makes $5 to $8 million a month with me on his training system. He's making millions and millions of dollars. Because he risked looking like a dick. And again, raise your hand if you think he's a dick. Go ahead. I won't tell him. See, a bunch of people here think he's a dick. Yeah, asshole. Whatever. But guess what? He's a billionaire asshole. Now, the question is that worth it? And folks, I'm here to tell you, to my experience so far, it is. Because let me tell you something. I know myself. I don't need you to like me for me to like me. And you don't need anyone else to like you for you to like you. And so I think that's the most powerful thing I can give you guys is the ability to, number one, get to know yourself, get to like yourself. I came up with 6 things, then I'm going to show you how I turn that into a personal brand. These 6 things I named the Sacred 6. The 6 things start out with the first thing, which is forgive. You got to forgive yourself. Now you think, why would I forgive myself? Just trust me. Okay? Risk it. Worked for me. I know what you're thinking, but I ain't that cool. True. But you don't need to be cool. Okay? You need to be you. Okay? And if you're not cool, there's a whole bunch of people looking for that kind of cool. So you got to be you, whatever you got to do. But you got to forgive yourself for all the bullshit you've ever put yourself through. And trust me, you have, whether you think you have or not. All the shit you think you're not worthy for, get rid of it. Wipe the slate clean, forgive yourself. Then step 2, you got to commit to do what you say you're going to do from this day forward. Commit. Okay? Now, some of you guys are getting a little anxious, like, ooh, commit. Shit, I don't want to do that. Well, that's because, again, you already know yourself. You know you don't keep your word. You know you don't follow through. You know you don't have any discipline. You know you're a freaking lazy ass. But that's the difference. You got to change. You ain't gonna win as a lazy ass. I tried. Trust me. I still try on occasion. And then my shit starts to slide. But you have to commit to do what you say you're going to do from this day forward. And no matter what, always do what you say you're going to do. Because when you don't, I'm telling you, what happens is you start to chip away at that self-worth and that self-esteem. And that's the most important thing you guys can have right now. People ask me, how do I grow my net worth? You grow your fucking self-worth. You got to be worth more to yourself because you're never going to outperform your own self-image. Does this make sense or no? So you have to throw it all away. And if what I'm saying is triggering you, especially you ever see those people with the chip on their shoulder out in the audience? Fucking guy thinks he's so cool. Look at his belt buckle. I bet he tucked in his shirt just so you'd see it. Look at the cufflinks. See, that's another thing, dude. Pay attention to details. Like, don't wear those shirts with the buttons. What you got, C-Rock? You got buttons or cufflinks? Oh, God. Dude, you don't do the buttons. Okay, that's like if Todd would have just put a Matchbox version of that there. You don't, man. You pay attention to the details. The little pocket square, doesn't that pop shit off just right? So you commit to do what you say you're going to do that day forward, and you never waver, or it will take away your self-esteem. Then step 3, you rack up the wins. This one's easy. Everybody tells you to 10x these goals and stretch and stretch and stretch. You set $1 million goal and you come in at 850. All your people, oh, that's pretty good. Oh, you came close. Well, that's still a win. No, it isn't. That's a loss. Like, you either hit it or you didn't. And most people, no, well, they'll rationalize. Guys, lower the goals. It's not that hard. Drop it down some. Like, can you brush your teeth tomorrow? That's a win, is it not? Please, it's a win for everybody in the room tomorrow. Brush your teeth. Walk one more step. Make one more call. Knock on one more door. Introduce yourself to one more person. You know how many deals have been made with the one more mentality? Just do one more, not 1 million more. Oh, next week I'm going to do this. Oh, well, shit comes up. My wife came into town and, excuses. So the simple solution is to lower that shit a little bit and just get realistic and just set goals you can hit. So now you start hitting goals all day long. Every day you're setting 5 or 10 goals that you're hitting. Every day you start going boom, win, boom, win, boom, win. And what happens when you win a lot? What's that make you? Makes you a winner. What happens when you lose a lot? Makes you a loser. We've been losing our whole lives and we don't know it because it doesn't register. Start winning on a regular basis. I guarantee you start walking around a little bit taller. You start feeling a little bit more deserving. You start looking around at your car and your house and you start saying, shit, I can do better than this. I always tell people, they go, how do I know if I like myself, Brad? And I'm like, take your shirt off and look in the mirror. I'm serious. Go look in your bank account. If your bank account's empty, folks, you don't like yourself. You don't value yourself. That's why it's empty. You want it to be jam-packed full? You got to raise your value, friends. Your value. Make sense? So and this Sacred 6 is how I did it over years. I'm telling you, this works. It's not a matter of if it'll work. It will work. It takes a little time, but it works. So you commit to do what you say you're going to do. Then you rack up the wins. And then you start walking a little taller and you start smiling a little bit more bright. And then step 4, get rid of the idiots. And they'll pop up when you start doing step 3. You'll start walking around like you own the place a little bit more, like a little more confidently. And then someone's going to be like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? Like, who is this guy? Or your friends will say, dude, I like you better the other way. You know what, C-Rock? I kind of liked you the better the other way. Anybody ever see someone lose a bunch of weight and someone goes, oh, you look like you got AIDS now? What? Ask them how they feel. But at the end of the day, you got to get rid of these idiots because this is a soil, man. In here's soil. What you plant in soil comes up. You know that, right? You plant corn, you get corn. You plant wheat, you get wheat. What do you think comes up if you plant shit? What comes up if you think negativity gets in there? Discouragement gets in there. What comes up? The same shit. So you got to block it out. Get rid of it. Step 4. Okay, number 5, you have to figure out what exactly success looks like. Most people don't know what success looks like. If I say, what do you think success is? I get 9 out of 10 times people going, like you don't take any time at all to figure out specifically what is going to make you smile. What is going to make you happy? What does success look like to you? Because it's important that you know what it looks like. How are you supposed to find it if you don't know what it looks like? How do you know if you're moving towards it or away from it if you don't even know what the hell it is? Like if I want to get a 6-pack, is a freaking 5 Guys and Fries moving towards or away? Right, so it's like, I want a six-pack. Okay, so now everything becomes a choice. Is this a good choice or a bad choice? Because when it boils down to it, dude, it boils down to choices. The choices you make determine the road you take. And that's the end of the freaking story right there. If you break it down to the simplest form, why do people succeed and other people don't? Their choices, their habits, their mindset, their skill set, and their habits. Those three things is all you have to focus on. Mindset, skill set, habits. You'll become unstoppable if you can master those three things. Mindset, skill set, habits. You don't need anything else. You will always have success. You will always be successful if you can master those three things. Okay, but you have to know what it looks like first. That's step 5. Map out and visualize what that looks like. You map out, you visualize what that shit looks like. And I'm telling you right now, you're going to be a lot more likely to get it. But you have to be specific. Everybody wants to know what's the key to success. There's no key. It's a combination. And everybody has their own. I know a dude that thinks getting laid every night of the week because we live in Vegas is success. I'm like, dude, that's freaking Russian roulette. Like, that is not success, but he thinks it is. So guess what? What do you think it is? Don't worry about what I think it is or what, Todd thinks it is or what freaking anyone thinks it is. This is what I'm talking about. Get back to you. We live our lives worried about other people all day long. We're told to be humble. Who's been told to be humble? Nobody? A bunch of sinners? How the hell did you guys get growed up? I was always smacked for not being humble. But guess what? I looked up the definition of humble one day. You know what it says? Yeah, it says to have a low opinion of one's own importance. And I say, fuck that. Can I get an amen? Now, again, by reading a few of your faces, I know that you do not agreeing with that because we've been indoctrinated with be humble, be humble. Guys, don't confuse humble with kind. You can be kind, but do not have a low opinion of your own importance. Turn that shit around. You need to feel like you are important, and that's the problem. You got to raise your self-worth to raise your net worth. You got to get more value in you somehow, some way. And 9 times out of 10, you know what it requires? Work. That's why they call it work, by the way, because the shit works. But that's what you got to do. You got to put in the work on a day-to-day basis, and it gets difficult. It gets uncomfortable. People don't like to be uncomfortable, so they give up. They quit. And guess what they do? They rationalize. Well, my dad didn't love me. I didn't have both my parents at home. Well, I got kicked out in the 11th grade. So what? That was then. This is now. Wipe the slate. Start kicking ass. Start to like yourself. So once you've mapped out and visualized exactly what you want, and remember, this takes 30, 60, 90, 120 days. This isn't instant. Don't wake up tomorrow and be like, shit, I did it all. Brad's full of shit. Like you literally have to change. Like, if you want to change what you're getting, you got to change what you're doing. If you want to change what you're doing, you got to change what you believe. The reason you do what you do is because you believe what you believe. And the only way to change what you believe, there's only one way, and that's step 6. Anybody know what it is? There's only one way to change what you believe. Huh? Nope. Huh? Speak up. Speak with your chest. What's that? No. 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 Nope. I got 7 more minutes. No, dude, listen. To change your belief, you must get new information. It's as simple as that. New information. Like if you don't think fire burns, you stick your hand in it. Fire don't burn. Boom! You get some new information real quick, don't you? Now you're like, okay, fire burns. It changes your belief system. The only way to change your belief system is to get new information. Who reads books every day? Raise your hand and don't bullshit. Very few of you. But every day, good for you, because that's new information. I keep telling people, you got to find something to read every single day, and I ain't talking about the shampoo bottle when you're sitting on the toilet taking a shit. I'm talking about freaking the 4 agreements. I'm talking about Think and Grow Rich. I'm talking about the law of attraction. I'm talking about As a Man Thinketh. Huh? I'm talking about The Hard Way. That's my new book. But folks, read every single day. Seek that new information. That's 6. And what that'll do, you'll start becoming better. You'll start becoming smarter. You'll start changing your beliefs. And those beliefs will change your actions and your choices and your thoughts. And those will change your results. And that is how you tactically apply and dominate. But you don't think you will, you won't. You have to change that. So hopefully those sacred 6 will help you do that. Because those sacred 6 right there helped change my life. Again, high school dropout, I went to jail, I got a bunch of DUIs, divorced a bunch of times, well, couple. Sound like a real train wreck, don't I? It's because I fucking was. And then I woke up and I started reading and I forgave myself for all the bullshit and the lies and the yeah. And I stopped worrying so much about what you thought of me and I started worrying more about what I thought of me. And then I started doing the work. That's the difference. The work. I've done the work. That's why I can walk into a room, introduce myself to anybody. And I don't care. I hope you like me. I don't care if you do, if you don't. Why? Because I like me, brother. I like me. My wife likes me, I think. You. See? So that's how you get to know yourself. That's how you build the relationship with yourself, because relationships is how you're going to make all the money for the rest of your life. The more you have, the more you make. That's a fact. Don't make it complicated, because it isn't. So the last thing, building a brand, which is the simplest thing in the world, once you've done this, because in order to build a brand, you got to know yourself, you got to like yourself, and you got to not worry about what other people think about you. Why? Because you're going to start putting out content out on the internet every single day. Now, most people are going to be like, well, what kind of content? What are you talking about? You see the content of people that don't really have content, that they got a picture of themselves like this, or one like this, and it has some slick ass quote, with half the time ain't even theirs. And then they're just going, look at me. Well, that means they have no content. And it's hard, because I used to be the same way. I used to think up, what can I put? What can I put? What can I post to make me look smart? What can I post to make me look? I was worried about how I looked. And I wanted to be this and I wanted to be that. And finally, I had a camera guy. And by the way, my camera guy, he goes with me everywhere but the bedroom and the bathroom. Because in order to do it, you need to get the video of you being you. You don't need time to make content when you are the content. You make sense? You're going to talk to your kids. You're going to talk to your wife. You're going to talk to your customers. You're going to go through the airport. You're going to get your hair cut. You're going to eat. But I don't want to look stupid eating with a camera on me, I want to look pretentious. Who gives a shit? You want to look broke? So you get that documented. You being you every single day. You be you. And that's why I went with the Sacred 6 first. Because if you are too afraid to put you out there because you're worried about somebody else's opinion, you'll never do it, and that'll be tragic. Because if you put yourself out there, you're going to get hate, I'm sure. And that's okay, though. If you're too afraid of the hate, you're never going to find the love. Does that make sense? So you got to not worry about the hate. Like Grant, he wasn't looking for me, I wasn't buying. You ain't looking for people that hate you, you're looking for people that like you. You're looking for people that resonate with you. Guess what? It works perfectly. If you don't like what I'm saying, guess what you do? You unfollow me and get the fuck on. And I like that. Why? Because I got one less hater following me. And then you'll have haters that won't unfollow you because they love what you're saying. And then believe it or not, the haters become fans later on. I get so many people saying, I used to freaking hate your ass. I used to hate your ass. So I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to put yourself out there and not be afraid of putting yourself out there on a regular basis. Instead of trying to think up the content, be the content. Every one of you are unique individuals that are freaking worthy and kick ass. Unless you don't think so. Is that the problem? You don't think so? See why I went with this one first? How you fix yourself? Because if you guys don't think you're worth it, guys, you're not going to do it. Don't worry about everybody else's opinion. Start worrying about yours. Become the content. Film yourself on a regular basis. Step 2, you got to have the creative. That's the that's the headlines, the hashtags, and the subtitles. Go look at your social media. Are there subtitles? If not, dude, people are scrolling silently. They read your shit before they hear your shit. Put subtitles. A headline. Hook 'em. Monkey tears baby off arm. Oh, good thing that family had insurance. I'm an insurance guy, and you got to stop them. There's so much noise out there. A headline, a hook. Then after the hook, talk about the problem, then the solution, and then how to get a hold of you. If you guys right now, no matter what business you have, upload to YouTube a video of you just saying, hi, I'm in this business. This is why I'm good at it. I love helping people. I would love to help you if you're ever in the market for this, that, or the other thing. Here is my cell phone. DM me, and you upload it to YouTube. I'll bet you within a year's time, totally organic, somebody will call you. Who's on YouTube? Raise your hand. Okay, few of you. Everybody needs a YouTube channel. That's what's next. So after creative, which is your headlines, your subtitles, your hashtags, the format of the video should be freaking hook, problem, solution, and then how to get a hold of you. And then you put it out there all the time. That's your creative. Then you need your outlet. Your outlet. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. All of them? All of them. Every single one of them. You put shit out every single day on every single one of them. If you're making videos all day long and you're chopping up videos all day long and you have 6 channels and you're dropping 3 a day per channel, that's 18 per day. And you guys, I know what you're thinking, 18 a day. How does he do that? I hire people. Someone says, well, I don't have the budget to hire somebody. Sucks to be you. Does that mean you can't do it? No. It means you're choosing not to. You're coming up with an excuse. And I don't like excuses. I learned a long time ago, folks, everybody's a millionaire. You either have a million excuses or you have $1 million, but you can't have both. So you got to stop the shit, get yourself a brand, start freaking believing in yourself, start realizing that you are worth more than you think you are. And if you don't believe me, go look at your bank account. If it's not where you want it to be, folks, I'm telling you, it's not an external problem that you're trying to solve. You need to look inward and fix you. Go get to know you. Go get to love you. And go get to bring up your damn value. And I promise you, the external will fill up the vacuum. Is that cool? All right, I'm out of time. I appreciate you guys. Oh, hey, I forgot to use my PowerPoints. I got all my PowerPoint slides because I had all this document. Let me see if they work. Hold on. There's one. All right, let me see. Let me see. There's another one. Hold on. Let me make sure there's another one. These are my slides, folks. I'll give you guys all a copy. Love you. Sometimes people need to see you 4 or 5 times before they buy anything. You need to build credibility, and they need to keep seeing you pop up, and then maybe the 9th time they actually buy something. So you think you got nothing because nobody bought directly from that, but that's not true. You built brand equity.